Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Love Busted. I am here today at my healing tree to channel a message to anybody that is angry about the state of the world right now. Where to start, angels? This weekend, my husband and I went to the No Kings protests in our hometown of Lafayette, and it was a very good turnout. The news coverage has been adequate, I suppose. However, the comments in the middle of red Indiana are quite discouraging. I'm saddened by the number of people that have their heads still in the sand. As I was following the news coverage of the No Kings protests, my social feed started to fill up with Ex-MAGA sharing their stories about how they finally have broken free from the illusion that they have been under. And I was really discouraged by how my fellow Americans were reacting to them waking up, so to speak. I feel like a lot of it was displaced anger. I think, yeah, sure, she voted 3 times for Trump. But her one vote didn't tip the scale. And she isn't physically responsible for the people that have died at the hands of ICE, the immigrants that have been mistreated, for lack of a better word. Complicit, maybe. But I think if we are unable to forgive and accept these people back, that we're going to have a hard, we're never gonna unite against the true villains that are the ones profiting at the top. Trump and his cabinet, they're the ones responsible. They're the ones that need to pay for the war crimes, the sex crimes, all of the grifting, the misappropriation of funds, stealing taxpayers' dollars to fund luxury hotels in Gaza. And so I just want to say, keep your eye on the ball. The wealth class, they want us fighting each other, distracted, in our place. There are many more of us than there are of them. And if we come together, we can organize. So as I was watching the video of this ex-MAGA member that was in tears, and I was scanning the comments, I was reminded of my own experience in a religious cult. It's been almost 20 years now that I left the ICC, aka the International Cult of Kip. And I'm still spiritually scarred from that. I had to go through special deprogramming and counseling afterwards. I felt so much shame and guilt because I indoctrinated other people into this group. And the only thing that made me feel better wasn't just praying for forgiveness, it was contacting the people that I got into the group and telling them the truth. If you are ex-MAGA and you're watching this, I would say look for other members, ex-members, to help lean on. Because you're all going through the same thing, you're feeling the same things, you're all having to reestablish your belief systems. And it's powerful to not be alone in that. If you are on the blue team or you're an independent and you are taking your anger out on rank and file MAGA, ex-MAGA that have just voted because that's what their parents told them to do, that's what their church told them to do, your anger is displaced. And I think we need to look at the majority of ex-MAGA as just being manipulated. And it's easy to say, well, there was news all around about his history and the truth of him, and why couldn't they just see? You have to remember that cults control information, and social media was creating little echo chambers, these little bubbles that kept us in our sex, S-E-C-T, in our little cliques, so to speak. I have another example of programming from my experience in the religious cult. Thought reform techniques were used, brainwashing, and they preconditioned members to think anyone on the outside was evil, was the devil. And I see signs of that in MAGA as well. The things that they say about Democrats and liberals, it's disgusting. So when someone leaves MAGA and they're looking for support because their whole world has crashed down around them, in some situations, it's tearing families apart because the political views are tied to the religious views. And these people just need someone to talk to. They need compassion. And you may say, they're not the victims, we are. Their vote has caused nothing but destruction and chaos. I think that's putting a lot of pressure, too much pressure on one vote. And it's also not helping it's not helping. In fact, I think it's almost ignorant because you are unable to see the cognitive dissonance and the impact that that had on people voting 2 and 3 times because of the peer pressure around to conform and vote. It was, I think, difficult for people to know what the truth was. It's only gotten worse with AI, and I don't know what we're going to do in this next election when we've got AI making um, fake campaign videos, and religious cults also do thought stopping techniques that shut down any negative thoughts that might pop into your head that would cause you to question or think analytically about what your eyes and ears are trying to tell you. When I got out of my religious cult, I went to a treatment facility called Wellspring Resource and Retreat Center in Akron, Ohio. And I think some ex-MAGA may need to look into going there um, because they have been indoctrinated. Uh, it's unfortunate. I think it's not black and white. I think this is all kinds of shades of gray. And I would hate to see what happened after World War II happen in our country, where there is an increase of suicides because people are feeling guilt and shame. I think we need to come together and figure out a way to learn from history. We keep repeating the same mistakes. I think probably the biggest problem right now is disinformation, propaganda, media not giving the full story, people stuck in their echo chambers. We need to start talking to each other again. We need to learn how to have civil discourse again. There have been all kinds of studies showing that um, people get nasty online because they feel anonymous. I would really hate to see any of these ex-MAGA coming out and feeling so destroyed, feeling hate fly at them, not being accepted anymore from their family surrounding them because they no longer believe the way that their family raised them to believe. Shunning happens in cults. It's happening in families that have been MAGA. Suicide is a real thing that could happen. And if you are too harsh in your criticism for these people that are just trying to say, I was wrong, help me learn from my mistake. That would be one more person that didn't have to die because of this hate and fear mongering that's so pervasive right now in our country. And we have to find a way to unify and come together in peace and love. And one side's going to have to be bigger and more gracious than the other. So after I left my cult, I was feeling guilt and shame, which is totally normal after you've been manipulated and indoctrinated, brainwashed, and led other people to go through the same fate. The way that I dealt with that wasn't by praying it away or talking about it. It was by taking action. It was a sense of atonement, a penance that I voluntarily did. I made it my job to reach out to all of the people that I indoctrinated into the group. I then started a blog, shared my story, and helped other people exit and get help. So I think if you're ex-MAGA and you are feeling shame and guilt, you need to find a way to work through that to make a difference for the good. And one of the ways that you could absolve yourself is by doing community service. I think reaching out, to a food pantry and helping there, or, volunteering at a homeless shelter or a soup kitchen. Um, it could be with the midterms coming up. Maybe you want to stump for someone that has values that you actually now believe in, although you're going to be reforming those for years, most likely. And so not only will that make you feel better about yourself, it will also show that you've changed and that you would like to establish trust with the community on the other side. And it will help you meet new people. In closing, I just want to pray for everybody that's going through this exiting of this MAGA cult. I pray that you can find a community that will welcome you and help you through this hard time. We're all struggling right now. We need to take care of each other. And that's what Jesus would do. I just want to also recommend any books by Steve Hassan. He wrote the book on the cult of Trump. Read that. And also, there's another book I will link to in the description by him that I read, Recovering from Churches That Abuse, because you've probably also been in a Christian nationalist church that has abused you. And the only way that we can turn this whole situation around and rebuild America is by unifying these two sides. We all need to come together. And I pray that that can happen. Anyway, please share this so that all the other humans out there that need to see it get to see it. I'm sure the algorithm will suppress it just because of my language. So hang in there.